This is not my work, actually. This is a review of the literature. It was very interesting to me, so I wanted to share this with you. It's about Acne Conglobata. These are the references. Is it really acne? Yes. It's a rare and severe form of pilosebaceous unit occlusion, and this is why it's called acne. So it's a heavy inflammatory reaction on the pilosebaceous unit, and this is why it's called acne, because of the location. With nodules and cysts interconnecting deep and subdermally by channel. This is why it's conglobate. Two balls joining by channel. This is conglobate. And this is differentiated from nodular cystic acne. Nodular cysts show double or grouped comedones open on the surface by skin discharging foul odor material. So it has a definite clinical picture, but it is rare and severe. This rare and severe disorder should be differentiated from acne fulminans by the absence of the acuteness in the condition and the fulminating picture with systemic manifestations. It has a pattern in age and distribution, and this rare, severe form of acne usually manifests with acne vulgaris, papillopustular, or acne inversa, or nodular cystic acne. Now, what is acne inversa? Acne inversa, the disease that used to be called hidradenitis suppurativa. Hidradenitis suppurativa because it affected the apocrine glands, and then they discovered, no, it's affecting the apocrine gland bearing area, and it is in the pilosebaceous unit, so let's call it acne. So the new name for it is acne inversa. Again, it's a different disease, but affecting the pilosebaceous units. Other associations of this very rare disorder, beside the acne inversa, follicular occlusion triad with folliculitis decalvans or perifollitis capitis, with follicular occlusion tetrad, and you can add the piloneedral sinus. The piloneedral sinus is affecting the pilosebaceous unit, and it's not called acne. Why? Associations of this very rare disorder. Look at the number of associations. Auto-inflammatory syndromes, arthritis, and all the syndromes in front of you with the eponyms. And you find in most of them, we have arthritis, we have auto-inflammatory disorders, and we have acne inversa or hidradenitis suppurativa. These are just few of the associations in a simple form for us to remember. And again, some others. Now, all the papers talking about the pathogenesis of acne conglobata always mix acne conglobata with severe forms of acne, because up until now it is acne, severe but very rare form of acne. The genetic background of them is a bit different than those of other severe forms of acne. Other factors in pathogenesis are those of acne. The immunological and inflammatory mediators, yes, are present in acne, but they have a different pattern here, and the difference is in the quality and in the quantity. The genetic factor here primes the patients to comedo switch, where the undifferentiated sebocytes, instead of differentiating into cells that produce lipids, they differentiate into cells in the canal of the sebaceous gland. And the progenitor cells in the hair follicle, again, they tend to differentiate into epithelial cells and cells of the pilosebaceous unit canal. Instead of secreting fat, they go for occlusion. This is the genetic background, and this is how it works in pathogenesis of acne conglobata. Inflammation precedes keratinization. Yes, we know that in acne, even in mild forms of acne, that was recently in the last decade the rule now. Severe forms of acne associated with overexpression. Now he's talking about special pattern of inflammatory mediators and cytokines. Interleukin-1 beta tumor necrosis factor alpha is introduced into the equation. The activation of toll-like receptor 2 helps in cornification of the canal. And Professor Zubolis mentioned acne is to be called T helper 17. T helper 17, the one that is released in response to microbes, and it is incriminated in psoriasis. And this is why now biologics against T helper 17, 23 axis are used. This diagram is nice, showing the Cutibacterium acnes at the starting the procedure. But just look at this. You have T helper 1, T helper 17 active cells. You have tumor necrosis factor alpha working in different levels. Just look at the blue arrows I'm pointing at. In severe acne, which is here a synonym for acne conglobata, the tumor necrosis factor alpha and the T helper 17 have an upper hand in the inflammatory process. And what about the Cutibacterium acnes? Check that with the latest edition of Rook. The news is going to be released, inshallah, by the end of this month. Rook textbook of dermatology. No causative organisms have been implicated in the pathogenesis of acne conglobata. Maybe it is a change in reactivity, but it's not a direct pathogen in acne conglobata. Actually, culture from the discharge in acne conglobata reveals Staphylococcus aureus rather than Cutibacterium acnes. Exposure to halogenated aromatic hydrocarbons and the introduction or withdrawal of anabolic steroids or testosterone, yes, they both may aggravate or even initiate the attack of acne conglobata, like other severe forms of acne. Those Japanese researchers, I urge you to go and get this paper. Look at the amount of inflammatory mediators they plan in the induction of acne vulgaris. What's the difference between the mild and the severe forms? Again, it's the quantity and the quality of the inflammatory mediators. So acne, according to this plan, is not a single disorder. We have different players on the ground. And whatever gang is working, it defines the picture, and maybe it's another totally different disease. This is why I believe, after seeing that the hidradenitis suppurativa is now called acne inversa, that acne conglobata, again, maybe it's not acne. And maybe both of them are just auto-inflammatory disorders because of their association with many severe disorders. But anyhow, this research on different types of acne, and especially on the most severe forms of acne, will highlight and will lead us towards better understanding of acne and development of new strategies of treatment. Tumor necrosis factor alpha promotes lipogenesis in human sebocytes, and the balance is kept by the transforming growth factor beta. Transforming growth factor beta intracellularly always tends to balance the overacting pathogenic way. But again, the Japanese authors of the paper, to suppress inflammation completely, monoclonal antibodies blocking cytokines are needed because, and that was new to me, killed Cutibacterium acnes induced inflammatory cytokines. So it's not just to kill them. So then why do we use antibiotics? We use antibiotics to control the amount of the Cutibacterium acnes. We use antibiotics as anti-chemotactics, but actually killing Cutibacterium acnes does not improve the condition. And it disrupts, of course, antibiotics, they disrupt the microbiome of the gut. Management of acne conglobata is localized until now into these three items only: isotretinoin, tumor necrosis factor alpha blockers, intralesional triamcinolone acetonide. Thank you, and that's it. Do not try other things. So, to conclude, isotretinoin combined with tumor necrosis factor antagonists, intralesional triamcinolone acetonide is the treatment. Monoclonal antibodies blocking the pathway is going to be the future of treatment. Amrelative did not do any research, but I'm telling you recently, in few years, we will stop antibiotics in acne totally. And what do you think of these three disorders? Are they acne or auto-inflammatory? Thank you very much.